If you need a PR and crisis manager or expert, something bad is going on. Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexis Blake. I am a trans woman and I share my life stories and opinions on social media. So today, before we dive into the main video, I do want to address one unusual thing that's going on my face. So I normally have lash extensions. If you're not new here, you may have seen, and I don't have them on right now, and this eye is just not having the time of its life right now. I recently got some new lash extensions and it gave me some infection, so I've had to remove them. It's a lot better and it's healing, so that's why I look a bit weird. So I'm just trying to I was considering getting an eye patch to cover up my eye for this video, but obviously I've decided against that because I don't look like a pirate. So please just try and ignore my eye. I'll try and keep my head like this direction for the whole video. So today's video, Blake Lively has filed a legal complaint against Justin Baldoni, her co-star from the film It Ends With Us. Also, the complaint is covering a smear campaign that Justin Baldoni allegedly orchestrated with a PR team to smear Blake Lively and her reputation. I'm going to try and stay on the fence as much as possible. I'm just going to give as much facts as I have found online, and I will let you guys be the judge. Of course, as always, if we can keep the comment section as nice as possible and just to discuss it in a healthy way. So let's dig into the first video.
Blake Lively was a huge box office hit, even as rumors spread of turmoil behind the scenes. In a legal complaint Lively filed on Friday, private text messages and other documents that we've obtained reveal what really happened. A campaign to tarnish Lively after she alleged that Justin Baldoni, her co-star and director, and Jamie Heath, the producer, had engaged in misconduct while shooting the film. A story about breaking the generational cycle of domestic violence.
I don't know if you remember or if you saw what happened in August just before the film's release. It was about 2 weeks before the film's released, early August. An old interview of Blake Lively, which we'll watch a little bit in a second, it resurfaced from 2016. It was posted on Reddit and resurfaced. During that time, how do I say this nicely? Blake Lively was making the headlines for all the wrong reasons. So if we just look back at that time, there was the interview. She seemed a little bit rude in the interview, didn't come across great, and then there was all these other things popping up on TikTok, articles, people were slandering Blake, and whether you like her or not, it was very cruel what was going on. It was trolling and it was bullying. I remember thinking when I saw all of this happen, I'm thinking, wow, this must be a lot to handle for one human being. That's a lot of hatred coming your way, and it just seemed like anything people could pick at, people would find flaws. They would even look back on old Gossip Girl episodes and just attack her acting. There was just so much negativity that was being hurled towards her at that point in time. Seemingly now, as time's moved on and things have unfolded more, we may have a reason as to why. Let's watch a little bit of that interview that I'm talking about from 2016 and you can see what I mean here.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
And they are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Thank you, thank you.
Are
you
you
like
saying-
the movie? Are you a Woody Allen fan?
I love most of his movies, and this one was so visually amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And working in digital.
Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
I love Jesse's
He has some
suits and
beautiful.
how
That's what I'm
he
saying. His
turns
wardrobe
it
was
up.
beautiful.
It's not the best. It's a very old interview. And all I want to say here, kind of a little bit of my opinion is, was she having a bad day? Do we know what the interviewer said to her before the interview? I don't know. We don't know everything. It's just a little snippet in time that we see there. And am I condoning how Blake acted in that moment? No. But we don't know everything that surrounded it. So that's what sort of kicked off this Blake Lively negative trolling thing that was going on in August. So fast forward to the film's premiere. Neither of the two, so Baldoni and Blake were the two stars of the movie. They weren't seen together at all at any of the press tour. So it was sort of bubbling up that something was going on. There was tensions behind the two stars, and obviously Baldoni was also the director as well. And then here we are today. One thing that also happened is during the time when Blake was making all the headlines, she did say the following. So a little bit of context if you've not seen the film. It's a film about domestic violence. That is a sort of subcontext of the film. And when advertising the film, Blake said this.
Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
So at that time, as you can see, obviously, is it setting the right tone for the film? Maybe not, but I do believe from what I've read online, Sony were instructing the cast to sort of try and put more of a positive spin on the film. It wasn't just about that topic, but that was one of the core topics around. But again, people on social media were destroying Blake Lively when that came out as well. So we've got all this sort of negative bubble surrounding her in August this year. So I am going to show you something from the New York Times in just one moment, but I just want to give my sort of what I've gathered from it so far. All of this started to happen early to mid-August. We had the interview being released, we had another old interview resurface, we had the clip about wearing florals and grab your friends, and there was so many other things going on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. They were all just very negative. I feel like every day I'd go on there and there'd be something more negative about Blake Lively. All of this was going on, and it's come to light now that Justin Baldoni had launched a smear campaign, allegedly, against Blake Lively around that time. We can't say for certain what was the smear campaign and what just happened organically. Obviously, no one forced Blake to act like that in the interview. That is what it is. It's very factual. It's there. We can see it with our eyes. But was it also pushed and spurred on by this smear campaign? So let's look a little bit more into the allegations that Blake Lively has raised earlier this week.
Lively claimed that Baldoni had engaged in improvised and unwanted kissing and made sexual comments to her, and that Mr. Heath had shown her pictures of his wife naked, and that he had watched her while she was topless getting makeup removed, even as she had asked him to look away.
Obviously, I wasn't there. I haven't seen all of this unfold, but just sort of taking the little bits that I can. You have Baldoni, who is the director and one of the stars of the film. You have one of the producers, Mr. Heath, and then you have Blake Lively. You have them both perhaps acting in a way that made her feel uncomfortable. They did and said things that made her uncomfortable, enough so that Blake then went and filed a complaint with the film studio about their behaviour, which they didn't then put actions in place, which will come up in a second. She didn't immediately go straight to a lawyer. She tried to resolve it whilst they were still filming and shooting the movie. Let's watch this next clip and it'll explain what they tried to do before it got to the lawyer side of things.
She had taken her complaints to the film studio, and the men agreed to bring in a full-time intimacy coordinator, an outside producer, and put in place other protections. They also agreed in writing not to retaliate against her. But as the release of the movie approached, they hired a crisis PR manager who orchestrated a smear campaign against Lively.
So Blake raised all of these concerns with the studio. Baldoni then goes and hires a PR and crisis management expert, Melissa Nathan, to handle the situation. She had also represented people like Johnny Depp and Drake as well in sort of similar situations. If you need a PR and crisis manager or expert, something bad is going on. So there has been some text messages that are legit and that have been found between Melissa Nathan, the PR expert, and Justin Baldoni's publicist. Baldoni's publicist said he wants to feel like she can be buried. Melissa Nathan, the PR crisis manager, then said, "You know we can bury anyone, but I can't write that to him." From what I've gathered, and I've watched some different videos on this and takes on it, and I've watched this whole video, which I'll tag below, by the way. From what I've gathered, they planted seeds online in different forums and different groups and different social media channels about Blake Lively in a very negative way and just watered them and let them grow. Or they found existing things that were going on, such as the 2016 interview, and they watered it and then pushed it and they emphasised it to really shape and mould the public's opinion on Blake Lively at that time. And it worked. It really worked. If you look back to all of that content, and I'm not saying Blake is completely innocent, I don't know, but if you look back at all that content, it was damning and it vilified her, and it was so awful to watch one human being experience all of that. Because it might seem like, oh, I'm just one person saying one thing, but if everyone thinks like that, when you add it all up, it was a lot going online. There is a flip side of that. Did she act right in that interview? Has she had diva moments? I don't know. There's always more to every story. There's two sides to every coin, and I do understand that. I'm just sort of looking at this aspect of the story is where we are right now. So I'll go on to one final bit from the New York Times, what they've said about it as well, and then we'll give our final thoughts on what's going on.
Nathan indicated that she had gotten allegations against Baldoni removed from articles. He doesn't realize how lucky he is right now. The whispering in the ear, the sexual connotations, she wrote. I mean, there's just so much. At the same time, Nathan assembled a team that could dominate social media through full social account takedowns by starting threads of theories and generally working to change the narrative. It's impossible to know how much they planted.
And that's that. That's kind of the basics of what I've sort of found going on. What is my opinion on this? I think I've kind of sort of let my opinion out in little bits through. Do I think that the interview is cringy with Blake Lively, and do I think she acted the best? Probably not. But again, I think it's a big jump to judge any human being on their behaviour when no one's perfect and we all make mistakes. Did it make the experience for the interviewer uncomfortable? I would imagine so, yeah. She's done a whole video about it. I'm not going to dig into that right now. I think we all have bad days. I'm sort of giving her the benefit of the doubt that maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe something happened before the interview. Maybe the interview was rude to her. I don't really know. I think the level of hatred that Blake Lively got in August and September from everything that was going on, very likely this smear campaign that was pushing and pushing to make it worse. I think it was cruel, and it was heartbreaking to watch. I didn't speak about it at the time because it's not something I usually dive into. I think it's really, really sad. It must have been, I can't imagine going through something like that where it seems like all of the internet is hating on you. To have two men, the director and the star, because obviously Justin Baldoni was both, you have one of the producers to make her uncomfortable. Do we know everything that went on? No, but should they be held accountable? Absolutely. Obviously, this is now in the hands of lawyers, so it will be dealt with accordingly and properly. But I think it's just very sad. And I personally do like Blake Lively. I like a lot of the things she's in. One of my favourite films is Age of Adeline. I love Gossip Girl. And I think there's more to every story than we see on social media. Anyway, that is me done. Thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy this kind of content, please do like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I post weekly-ish videos, and then I also have a podcast, The Blake Debate, with my fiancé Liam. I apologise again for my eye. I know it's not great. It will be better for the next video. I did have glasses that covered it, but you just get glare, so I don't know what's worse, glare or this dodgy eye. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all had a lovely time over the holidays, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Bye!